is it finally over? It might be finally over, okay? I have not watched this, but I do see Robert Horry with this part here, right here. My daughter was sick, and I also see Spurs reporter posted this, and this is supposed to be a story about Greg Popovich. So is it finally over? Guys.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
All right, he's a weird one, man. He's a weird one because you never know if he really hated or loved Popovich. But I guess we're about to find out. We are definitely about to figure this out.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
All right, so let's go ahead and start this up. But if you guys don't know, Robert Horry has had this continuous beef with Greg Popovich for the longest. It's been very, very frustrating. But at this point, I hope that it's over and it's done and it's squashed. And yeah, let's see what he has to say. All right, let's I'm not gonna speed it up. It's only 1:30. Is it on my headset? Is it on my headphone? No, it's not on my headphones. I always got to change that. All right, take it away, my boy.
In my last year.
Oh, wait.
That's the one thing I will say about them. I remember my daughter was sick, and my last year.
Okay, he's on All the Smoke. That's with the Spurs hater guy, right?
In San Antonio, and she went in the hospital, and Pop was like, "Don't come back until she's out of the hospital." I said, "What?" I said, "Don't come back. I don't care if she's feeling good. Don't come back till she's out of the hospital." I mean, she got out of the hospital on a Monday. I was back at practice on a Wednesday. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "You said don't come back." I said, "She's not out of the woods yet. Go home. Don't come back." I'm like, "Are you trying to get rid of me on the slide?" He's like, "No." I said, family is the most important thing. And that's the one thing that, you have to give it up to the Pop and the San Antonio Spurs organization. They know basketball is a business and is how we, live our lives, but that's not the most important thing. Your family is the most important thing. And for me, I'm really grateful for that because, 2 years later, I lost my daughter, but it's just one of those times that, you can't get those times back. You got to spend that time with your loved ones.
I didn't know he lost his daughter. That's sad.
That's why you can.
Pop is big. I got a story because I want to give Pop his props. We was in Chicago.
I'm so confused by Steven Jackson. I know that he's made a complete 180 or whatever. Like he doesn't feel the same way, I guess. I mean, ever since we got Wemby, he's kind of changed his tone about the San Antonio Spurs. He said that he's not going to hate on me anymore. He said that he had a conversation with Pop. It's very strange, man. I guess is there any players left that still hate Popovich? I don't know. It's literally only a few of the weird Spurs fans that don't like Pop for different reasons on why he gets any hate at this point, because it seems like everyone's kind of turning the page a little bit.
And I was on the way to the game, and at the time my wife had just miscarried. And I was on my way to the game, but I wanted to go play. And Pop sent me, I'm talking about when I was in the locker room getting dressed, he made me put my clothes on and sent me back to the hotel and made me stay at the hotel for 2 days just to get my mind right. He didn't care about none of that shit. And it was around getting ready to go into the playoff time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's one thing I loved about Pop. They can say what he wanted as a coach and how the things he say, but he always put family before basketball.
Yeah, that's a big ups to him.
And you know what? And here's another thing too. I want to add on to that. All right, I know that most people aren't going to be able to say Popovich has bad moral character, right? Most people aren't going to be able to say that. But one thing about it, and one thing about Popovich is because that he always puts his players first, because he's always constantly like, hey, take care of yourself. Hey, take care of your friends, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, take care of your own mental health, your own self-care. Because he's always pushing that type of stuff, that's actually part of being a great coach as well. And I think a lot of people try to like separate it too often and say, oh yeah, he's good with that, but he's a terrible coach. He's making terrible decisions, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, no, that's not the case at all. I think that it really does, come into play in all aspects of who Popovich is. So yeah, I think people should keep that in mind. And yeah, man, this is just great to see. So we're going to take a look at, maybe a few of these comments here and go to the source of this whole thing and see if we can see any other opinions about this.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
All right, guys. So before we do that, please go check out the link below to BetUS. You'll receive 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So just use that link below. When you support the sponsor, you support the channel. It means the world to me. And thanks BetUS for sponsoring this video. Let's see if we have any comments. We have Ed Clan, the Spurs fan. Very insightful. Thank you to Tim Baller. If you guys ever want to tag me in anything, you can just literally just do this. Like any comment, or if you want to repost it, just tag me at Clan, and usually I see it. So thanks, man. And always talk ish about the Spurs. See, this person confusing too. I don't get Jack. Okay, Steven Jackson. Exactly. I understand people are complicated, and coaching is different than being a human being. It's to an extent, but a lot of coaches that are also pretty awful to their players don't last that long. Like I think Rick Carlisle was a really good coach, but a lot of players didn't like him, and he got fired. I mean, obviously, got another job, but he did get fired. But he's got to pick a side, man. Every other clip that comes out is him crapping on Pop and the organization. Then he does this, make it make sense. See, there's a comment on here. Are you sure it was him and not Steven Jackson? What he has said negatively about his days in San Antonio. It's been both of them. There's like a million stories from his podcast. Look up DeJounte episode. There's plenty in there. He bashes Pop's mind games. Type Steven Jackson. That is true. It's like, okay, he plays these mind games with you, right? Like okay, he's a manipulator, and he's really just trying to get the, because why else would we do the mind games? He's just trying to get the result of winning, right? That's all that matters, just the winning. But it's like this is complete, like this is a complete contradiction to that notion that Popovich in game is to win always. I don't know. I feel like it's a contradiction. All right, let's see if we go to this link, what it brings us to. Okay, this is the whole YouTube channel.
The NBA finals are here.
Hey, knock it off. All right. Let's see here. Literally earned his 7th ring. He was a key contributor to all those championships. Always answered the call. This is the most intelligent, well-orchestrated basketball podcast probably out there. Shout out to Big Shot Bob. Okay. Now this guy knows his ish. Broke down the Kobe, MJ, Braun. Okay. The definition of a player knowing how to play the game. Okay. Yeah. I guess no one's going to actually key in on that one segment of this entire podcast, so I don't know what I was expecting there. But yeah, it is very confusing. I don't quite understand where he stands, Steven Jackson. Actually, shout out to Spurs Report for posting this, but it looks like this was just something I missed, because this was about a year ago when this came out. Was not aware of that, but hey, doesn't matter. Still relevant to today. We haven't really seen him talk a lot of stuff about the Spurs recently. It's just very confusing. The whole thing is confusing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I would encourage you guys, and I know this is a TV show, okay? But I would encourage you to watch this if you have Apple TV. And I think that it's a good perspective on what it takes to be a phenomenal coach, and why it's so much more important than the X's and O's. And that's Ted Lasso. It's actually a phenomenal show. Very funny, heart-wrenching at times. You'll cry, you'll laugh. It's like a roller coaster. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. But it definitely reminds me at times of Popovich and things that we've heard about Popovich behind the scenes. And it's just what makes a great coach, man. And I think that is a good show to put things in perspective on running any type of ball club. So good stuff. All right, I'm getting out of here. Once again, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Guys, please go check out link below in the description box. Until next time, man. Bye.